working as an assistant professor in Department of Computer Science, Holy Cross College, Nagercoil. In this video, we are going to study about the cluster in data mining. Clustering in data mining. What is clustering? The clustering is the process of grouping the similar objects into one class. The documents within a cluster should be similar. The documents from different clusters should be dissimilar. What are the applications of clustering? Nowadays, the clustering concepts are used in different areas. So, pattern recognition, spatial data analysis. In the spatial data analysis, we can use it in the geographical area. Image processing also we can use the clustering application. Then marketing also we can use the clustering application. In World Wide Web also we can use the clustering applications. What are the different examples of clustering applications? There are many clustering applications are there. In the marketing field, use the clustering application. Then land use. The land use, there is the identification of areas of similar land use in an earth observation data. For example, the geographical area. The insurance also we can use the clustering application. The city planning, the earthquake studies also we can use the clustering applications. What is clustered analysis? The cluster analysis is the finding the group of similar objects. So in here there are three clusters are there. So here the intra-cluster distance and inter-cluster distance. So what is intra-cluster distance and what is inter-cluster distance means? The intra-cluster distance means the distance between the object within one class. Inter-cluster distance means the distance between the objects within different classes. The inter-cluster distance are maximate when compared to the intra-cluster distance. Then, so this is the examples for clustering. 2 clusters, 4 clusters, 6 clusters. We know what is cluster. The cluster means we have to group the similar objects into one cluster or one class. There are set of objects are there which include different types of objects. Our aim is to mine the similar object into one class. That is, the objects are grouped into one cluster. Here in this example, 6 clusters. 6 clusters means 6 different objects are there. So 6 different objects are grouped into 6 classes. The 4 clusters, 4 different types of clusters are grouped into different classes. Then what are the types of clustering? Here there are 2 types of clustering, partitional clustering and hierarchical clustering. So what is partitional clustering? A division data objects into non-overlapping subsets, such that each data object is in exactly one subset. In the clustering, hierarchical clustering, the objects are organized as a hierarchical tree. You know the hierarchical tree. So this is the example for partitional clustering. This is the example for hierarchical clustering. So in this example, first traditional hierarchical clustering, the next the traditional dendrogram. So what is dendrogram means? The hierarchical tree structure, that is called the dendrogram. So related to the traditional hierarchical clustering, the next diagram, the traditional dendrogram is non-traditional hierarchical clustering. According to this clustering, we can draw the non-traditional dendrogram. So this is the 2 differences. The hierarchical clustering, then traditional dendrogram. That is related to the corresponding dendrogram. So this is the hierarchical clustering. Then similarity and distance measures. Already we studied about the inter-cluster distance and intra-cluster distance. Because one cluster that consists different objects are there. the distance between the different objects. The distance between the different objects within the class, otherwise the distance between the objects within the different classes are there. So one object is one class, other object is in another class. We have to find the distance between these two different cluster objects. The result of the clustering is presented either as the distance or the similarity between the clustered rows or columns depending on the selected distance measure. So we know the dendrogram is a diagram representing a tree. So there are two types of data structure in the matrix format. So data matrix and dissimilarity matrix. Because we know the objects may be similar objects or dissimilar objects. So these are the two different matrices to find the distance between the objects within the cluster or different cluster. Then how we can find the distance between the objects? The measure of the quality of the cluster, dissimilarity, similarity matrix. We know, so how we can find the one point T of I comma j. There's a distance between the 2 points. So normally one point can be denoted by x comma y. The dissimilarity or similarity between the similarities measured or expressed in terms of distance function, which is d of ij. The weight should be associated with different variables. So there are different formulas are there to find the distance between the objects. First, we have to find the standardized data. So absolute deviation. So this is the formula for finding the deviation, that is a score. So here using this formula, we have to apply the values for these variables, then we can calculate the deviation and is a score. Then only we can easily find the distance between the two objects. So using the mean value, we can find the absolute deviation is more robust than using standard deviation. Similarity and dissimilarity between the objects. Distances are normally used to measure the similarity or dissimilarity between the two data objects. So already we know what is inter-distance objects and intra-distance objects in the cluster. Here one popular distance is there, Minkowski distance. Here the formula for finding the distance d of ij. The first one is the formula to finding the distance between the objects. So here in this formula we can apply the values of x value, then I value. Normally I equal to xi1 comma xi2 up to xip, and j value xj1 comma xj2 up to xjp, because in the matrix rows and columns are there. So I cross j, rows and columns. So the I value and j value, so the two dimensional data objects, the q is a positive integer. So when we apply the q value, if q equal to 1, d is the finding the distance. So d of ij, when we apply the values of each and everything, we can find the distance between the objects. That's all for today. See you in the next video. Thank you.